Yesterday on the Pat McAfee Show, Pete Thamel says that Oregon and Washington are staking a claim that they want to get into the Big Ten. Wanting to get in the Big Ten and being able to get in the Big Ten are two different things. But Washington and Oregon have staked their claim that they want to get into the Big Ten. Also, Washington State's President Kirk Schultz sends an internal email to his colleagues. We're going to go over that letter. Wow. All on episode 218 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Let's first get into Pete Thamel. This is from SB Nation, Michigan. Pete Thamel, two more Pac-12 teams want to go to the Big Ten. Well, a lot of them want to go to the Big Ten. Possibly all of them want to go to the Big Ten. Daniel Plocher, again, SB Nation, USC and UCLA will be joining the Big Ten in 2024, and reports are a few other Pac-12 teams would like to join them. Appearing on the Pat McAfee Show, ESPN college football reporter Pete Thamel said Oregon and Washington have already pretty much staked their claim that they want to go to the Big Ten. That's not even the money shot of what Pete Thamel said, though. Hang with us. Thamel spoke about the possibilities of Colorado potentially returning to the Big 12 and Arizona, Utah, and Arizona State being in an interesting spot depending on the conference's new TV deal. The Pac-12's current deal is set to expire at the end of the 2023 season. As you know, here at Peek Around the Corner, we believe that Colorado is at the center of the stage and Arizona is on the side, but they're starting to walk to the middle of the stage. The question remains if the Big Ten wants to continue to expand. As of now, it certainly is not a priority as the conference has a mess to deal with in its own TV deal that has schools giving money back to the networks, putting the deal with NBC, CBS, and Fox in jeopardy for this fall. Well, I would have to disagree very strongly with Pete Thamel. The deal is not in jeopardy. However, let's continue. New Commissioner Tony Petitti's full attention is on saving that deal and keeping all the schools happy with their payout. But it would seem odd to just bring in USC and UCLA without any other West Coast expansion in the foreseeable future. And again, that's what we've been saying since day one. We said that at Flug Empire Twitter account before everybody knew June 30th, 2022 was going to happen, the announcement of USC and UCLA. The Big Ten was never going to just expand with two schools west of Lincoln, Nebraska, but it's all about the timing. Can it happen in the next 5 months, or will it happen 5 years from now? We shall see. We shall see. The Action Network's Brett McMurphy spoke on just that while appearing on the Solid Verbal podcast. Again, from Brett McMurphy, from the people I talk to, they tell me that expansion is not dead. Now, does that mean the Big Ten is going to add somebody next week or next month? No. But I think within the next 2 or 3 years or sooner that they will. The future of the Pac-12 is largely dependent on how aggressive the Big Ten gets. I think they're going to be very aggressive because I still think their plan was never to add just UCLA and USC and leave them on an island. They want to bring in more Pac-12 schools. Again, as you know, for those who've been watching us at Peek Around the Corner, we've been saying that since day one. It wasn't just Kevin Warren who wanted to add more Pac-12 schools. It just so happened that Kevin Warren was the largest hurdle in expanding with more schools. And you know that if you've been watching Peek Around the Corner. What does this look like? I bet it will be a counter-punch situation with the SEC. That's why the Big Ten felt the need to add the California powerhouse after the SEC added Texas and Oklahoma just months earlier. Again, this is Pete Thamel. Thamel also noted in the interview there are flares going up in the ACC with national championship caliber teams like Clemson and Florida State, making less money than Vanderbilt and Mississippi State with the current state of the ACC's TV deal. This could all spark quite a bit of action. The future, and this is the money shot, the PATC money shot of the article, what Pete Thamel said. The future of how this sport is comprised hinges on whether or not the Pac-12 can get a reasonable TV deal, says Thamel. Absolutely. Here in the near future, how the sport is compromised, how college football is structured, basically hinges on the decision of Colorado that's sitting there in the center stage. Can you believe it? Well, it's true. Colorado has a big decision to make, and if they pull the trigger to go to the Big 12, then Arizona State, Utah, they have a big decision to make. It all hinges on whether the Pac-12 can get a reasonable deal, because if the Pac-12 can get a reasonable TV deal, Colorado's going to want to stay with their peers in the Pac-12. And if Colorado breaks from the Pac-12, holy smokes, buckle up, brace for impact. Back to the article. Amazon and Apple were two out-of-the-box options he mentioned as potential landing spots for the Pac-12's network deal. But it would be a deal that is unprecedented in major sports and the first of its kind at the Power 5 level. Either way, the formation of the Power 2 has already begun with the Big 10 and SEC stealing powerhouses from the Pac-12 and the Big 12 respectively. If the other three major conferences can't get the money some of the blue blood schools suspect they deserve, we could see more teams like Oregon and Washington asking for a spot at the table with the Big 10 and the SEC sooner rather than later. Wow. Pete Thamel bringing the guns at the Pat McAfee Show. Oregon and Washington staking their claim that they want to get into the Big 10. Remember, Brett McMurphy at Action Network broke the news months ago that Oregon and Washington both had preliminary meetings with the Big 10. So we shall see. But right now, we got to focus on the next maybe week or so. Got to focus in on what Colorado does. Do they stick or go in the Pac-12? A lot of it hinges on Colorado's decision. Here in the near future, I mean, the forces of consolidation is still going strong here in college football. So Oregon and Washington, the Big 10, we believe it's going to happen within the next 5 months or within the next 5 years. We've been saying that since day one at Peek Around the Corner. Now, let's get to another huge story. And this might impact Colorado's decision. Everything impacts everybody's decision going forward. Late last night, I put out a tweet. I put it out there and Twitter exploded. I gave a link to the Washington State University letter. We believe it was an internal email from Kirk Schultz, Washington State's president, to his colleagues. We're going to read it. Holy smokes. Washington State, May 22, 2023. Dear colleagues, Washington State has made steady progress toward balancing the athletic budget the past several years. Unfortunately, though, we are facing tremendous headwinds that will make closing out fiscal year 2023 more challenging than expected. As has already been widely reported, each Pac-12 university will see a significant decrease in revenue distribution. This decrease is a result of overpayments from one of the conference media partners that must be resolved. Relocation of the Pac-12 headquarters out of San Francisco exceeded budget projections as well. Additionally, Washington State's projects that Cougar Athletics exceeded its expenditures for the year due to inadequate documentation of revenues and expenses. So it's one issue stacked upon another at Washington State. Director of Athletics Pat Chun shared with the athletic staff earlier today immediate actions that will be implemented to help offset the projected deficit. Among others, these actions include a temporary freeze on all current and future vacant positions until further review, as well as a pause on non-essential travel, purchases, and new professional development. Holy smokes. These physical measures impact athletics only and will not affect upcoming salary increases for Washington State's faculty and staff. So this is limited in scope. It has to do with the athletic department. Under the close guidance of Leslie Benelli, Executive Vice President of Finance and Administration, Washington State is conducting a thorough review to determine the full extent of the most recent deficit and its root cause. Cougar Athletics will partner with the Office of Finance and Administration to ensure a detailed reporting of fiscal year 23 and balanced budget of 24. This information will be presented during June's Board of Regents meeting. My expectations for Cougar Athletics remain the same: an annual balanced operating budget, the development of appropriate reserve funds, and a repayment plan to pay down internal debt. As planned, we will also continue to engage in conversations with the Athletes Council in the fall around repayment of accumulated debt. I remain committed to transparency about the Cougar Athletics budget and improving the physical health of the university. We will move forward solutions and additional accountability measures when we have further discussions next month. Thank you again for all that you do. And as always, go Cougs. Kirk Schultz, System President, Washington State University. That's a lot to take in. A lot of issues at Washington State. They're grappling with debt incurred internally, not having a good structure in regards to revenue and expenditures, plus the whole deal with the Pac-12 having to pay back Comcast $50 million and other issues. Washington State in a lot of trouble. Kirk Schultz. Wow. That email or that internal email, I put it out there on Twitter last night and it exploded across the landscape. Wow. Take it all in. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comments section below the video. I want to read them. I want to know what you think. Pac-12. George Kliavkoff needs to pull the rabbit out of the hat. He needs to get a deal done in front of the Pac-12 presidents. He needs to get one that all 10 can sign. Plus, you have the Big Ten looming over. Everybody knows now. I think everybody knows that the Big Ten is targeting Oregon and Washington for future expansion, either be in the next 5 months or in the next 5 years. Stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Stick with us. The saga continues, the Pac-12, the Big 12, now the ACC, and everything else. So stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.